Hello everybody, I hope you are doing well. This is composition for S2 students. Now the present audio recording is on cohesion and coherence. These are two important aspects of the structure of academic writing, as they have an influence on the readability and logical flow of the argument of a text. Cohesion refers to the logical flow and connection in a written text and is achieved through the use of devices to link sentences together so that there is a logical flow between ideas from one sentence to the next. Coherence refers to the unity or togetherness of the text as a whole and is achieved through the effective grouping and arrangement of ideas in a logical order. In academic writing, paragraphs are essential to the structure of the text. Information and ideas are sorted into paragraphs to make the writing more logical and to ensure that the argument flows and develops logically. To achieve cohesion and coherence, paragraphs and sentences need to be clearly linked to each other. To achieve cohesion and coherence, paragraphs and sentences need to be clearly linked to each other to logically and linguistically form a whole. Every paragraph needs a focus or a theme, and all parts of the paragraph must contribute to this. So paragraphs generally follow a typical structure. First sentence in the paragraph is the topic sentence. This sentence defines the scope of the paragraph, the topic of the paragraph, the main idea of the paragraph. It encapsulates or organizes the paragraph and relates to the thesis of the text. So the topic sentence is usually followed by supporting evidence for the claims made in the paragraph and an elaboration on the claims. So it is followed by supporting statements, and these statements are meant to support the idea mentioned in the topic sentence. It is important to draw the reader's attention to the point you want to make with your claims. So cohesion in paragraphs can be achieved by the use of linking devices and logical connectors to link sentences. These devices include a variety of elements. Example, conjunctions, the use of pronouns, and the repetition of certain words. It is important to note that conjunctions link on a grammatical level, while linking devices link meaning. There is a wide variety of words that can be used to make a logical connection between concepts and sentences. It is important to use them correctly and not overuse certain linking phrases. So the logical connectors, we can find examples of additive words, order words. So in expressing addition, for example, we need, for example, words like also, and, as well as, at the same time, besides, equally important, further, furthermore, in addition, likewise, moreover, and to. So in ordering the ideas within a paragraph using order words, we use expressions or words like afterwards, at the same time, before, firstly, secondly, formerly, meanwhile, next, subsequently, ultimately, until, while, historically. So we have other similar words, and when, for example, when we express, for example, amplification words, expand upon previous ideas, we use as, for example, for instance, in fact, specifically, such as, that is, to illustrate. You will find a number of, for example, charts exemplifying these logical connectors. Other words which are summarizing words, they identify the main line for argument. For example, in conclusion, to summarize, to sum up, in summary, briefly, in brief, in short, and repetitive words, and they are used to repeat something with more emphasis. Again, in other words, that is, to repeat. Qualifying words introduce conditions: if, unless. Contrast and change word are used to introduce contrasting arguments. Examples like but, notwithstanding, on the other hand, even though. And then we have cause and effect words, and they are, for example, accordingly, as a result, because, consequently, for this reason, since, then, therefore, etc. And other emphasizing words, and they are used to highlight important information. More, most significantly, most importantly, more importantly, above all. So, to stress some remarks on cohesion, I recommend that you should make sure the text reads like a unit. Use linking devices and logical connectors. Be careful not to overuse certain linking phrases. Make use of pronouns, especially this for linking. Example: global warming is caused by man-made or anthropogenic causes. This has been fiercely debated. Coherence in academic writing. So, paragraphs have to be coherent. This means that the parts of your paragraph need to link to each other in a logical way, so that the reader may easily follow the development of your ideas and arguments. Incoherence is defined as writing in which separate, unrelated ideas appear to be juxtaposed. They are next to, but not connected to each other. Coherence exists in a sequence of words, sentences, and paragraphs in which the reader can perceive connections. To produce a coherent stretch of discourse, writers use basic thought patterns or logical patterns in both simple and complex ways. All parts of the text have to relate to each other in the context in which they appear, and there has to be effective transition from one part of idea to the next. Coherence ensures that the bigger picture is clear. Coherence in writing can be achieved through the use of words and also through context. So coherence is a product of many different factors, which combine to make every paragraph, every sentence, and every phrase contribute to the meaning of the whole piece. Coherence in writing is much more difficult to sustain than coherent speech, simply because writers have no nonverbal clues to inform if their message is clear or not. Therefore, coherence itself is the product of two factors: paragraph unity and sentence cohesion. So, some remarks on coherence. You need to ensure that your arguments are logically structured and arranged. Develop arguments logically using paragraphs. Be sure to have a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. Make sure every part of the text fits together. Ensure that every new paragraph is related to the previous one. Plan the flow and development of your argument before you start writing. Ensure that paragraphs are conceptually linked and not only sentences. I ask you to read the essay on page 4, the material that you took from the copy center. It is about Chinese medicine. And then do these tasks. You will find them on page 3. A. Underline the thesis statement with 2 lines. B. Underline each topic sentence with 1 line. C. List the supporting ideas in each main body paragraph on a separate piece of paper. And then, after you have finished, review the topic sentences and supporting ideas with a partner. Discuss how the topic sentences relate to the thesis statement and how the supporting sentences relate to the topic sentences. And see whether the essay is unified. You can send your answers to my professional email and I will send my feedbacks. So, keeping unity in an essay, one way to keep unity is to edit the outline for ideas that are not relevant to the thesis statement or topic sentences. After you have written the essay, it is helpful to review the text and look for ideas that do not relate to the thesis or the topic sentence. Coherence in writing is related to unity. Ideas that are arranged in a clear and logical way are coherent. When a text is unified and coherent, the reader can easily understand the main point. As you learned in previous opportunities, creating an outline helps make a well-organized essay. When organizing your ideas, think of what type of organization is the best for your topic or essay type. So here are some examples of types of writing and good ways to organize them. Certain types of writing, we have chronology, historical event, personal narratives, processes. So the type of organization, here we have 2 orders, one by time and the other of events or steps. In description, we have the order by position, size and shape of things. In classification, the group of ideas are explained in a logical order. In comparison and contrast, the organization recommended is point by point or block style. In argumentation, persuasion and cause effect. So the order here is from the least important to the most important. Cohesive devices. What is a cohesive device? Cohesive devices are words and phrases that connect sentences and paragraphs together, creating a smooth flow of ideas. In this unit, we will look at transitions, pronoun references, and repetition of key ideas. Transitions. As you've learned in previous units, there are many transition words and phrases in English that are used to connect sentences together or relate ideas to one another. Here are several types of writing and some common transitions that are used with them. You find them on page 8. Among these types of writing, we have chronology, and we use words like before, after, next, since, first, second, while, when. In comparison, we use expressions like likewise, compared to, similarly, as plus adjective plus as, and etc. In contrast, we use words like however or expressions like on the other hand, but, yet, in spite of, in contrast, although, instead. When giving additional information, we use words like and, also, in addition, in fact, furthermore, moreover, another plus expression, is or was, etc. When expressing examples, we use expressions like, for example, in general, generally, for instance, specifically, in particular. And when expressing cause and effect, we use expressions such as therefore, so, thus, as a result, since, and because. In concluding ideas, we use expressions like in conclusion, in summary, finally, therefore, to conclude, to summarize. So I suggest that you do exercise 4 on page 8. Use transitions from the list that I have just mentioned, and you have a chart exemplifying all these expressions. Use transitions or others that you know to connect the sentences taken from the essay about Chinese medicine on page 4. When you have finished, compare your answers with the essay. I suggest that you forward your answers to my inbox. Talking about pronoun reference. Two sentences can be connected by the use of a pronoun. A pronoun, he, she, it, they, etc., takes the place of a noun, a person, place, thing, or idea, or a noun phrase, several words that refer to a person, place, thing, or idea. Look at the following example taken from the essay on sign language. The example: American Sign Language developed from the mixture of signs used by deaf Americans and French Sign Language. Today, it is used by more than 500,000 deaf people in the United States and Canada. The pronoun here refers back to the subject, American Sign Language, and connects the two sentences together. Another important element which we need to take into account, which is the repetition of key nouns or ideas. So this is another way to connect ideas in an essay through repeating important words and phrases. This will help the reader remember the main ideas in the text. The following example is about modern medicine. Modern medicine focuses on illness. If a patient with a cough visits a modern doctor, then the doctor will give the patient a medicine to stop the cough. If the patient also has a fever, the doctor may give a different medicine to stop the fever. For example, for every person with a cough, the doctor will probably recommend the same cough medicine. The philosophy of modern medicine is to stop problems like coughing and fever as quickly as possible. Here, the important word that is repeated is the word fever, and it is the key word in this respect. Thank you very much for listening,
and we meet in the next audio recording. Thank you very much.